sometimes consciously we get in our way of actively trying to find the solution. And the best thing sometimes we can do, know what we want and let go and let your subconscious brain run in the background. It's more powerful than you can even imagine. Welcome back to Life at 10 Tenths, where we inspire people to live at their pinnacle of their ability and purpose. Matt Benelli's with me today. I'm Garrett Fry, and we are so excited to get this rolling with you guys. Matt, good morning, sir.
Good morning to you, my friend. Yes, we are excited. We've been messing around before starting to record here, so
oh my god,
we're caffeinated, we're hyped up, we're in a good mood, and we got like a nice, quick but very, very important topic today. And this works in so many areas of life too. I mean, it definitely applies very, very purposefully to business.
Yeah.
But I love this, man. So let's roll right on. Oh, before we roll in, I just want to thank everybody for joining us, and head over to lifeat10tenths.com to learn more about all the incredible things that we're rolling out, including our community, right? Our 11 circle that we announced last week.
Yep.
Which is going to be a premium membership where you're going to have even more access to Garrett and myself and some really cool things like guest trainings. So definitely go to lifeat10tenths.com and check that out.
Yeah, we're going to have that there. And then for those of you that do like watching us on video, which this is newer to us, having the video option to you, head over to YouTube. You can subscribe there and those will pop up in your feed. And we'll just...
What's the thing that people say? Hey, subscribe and hit the bell.
Yeah, we get to start saying that, Matt. That it's not flowing out yet, but I will get in the groove. I just don't want to be, I don't want to be that guy.
But don't people know to do that already? Like, I guess you got to remind the folks, right?
You got to remind them. Hit like and subscribe.
You guys, let us know. Comment on YouTube if you're like, you need that reminder, or if you guys are pros and you know how to do that stuff.
That's a great thing. Just, can you comment below?
We can actually that's the cool thing we can do. We can now actually see comments right there on episodes. That's the cool thing about YouTube, is we get to go see what y'all are saying right on each and every episode. So do that.
We need to start this episode. So let's jump in here right now. I was on a coaching call here just the other day, and I had this moment. And again, a lot of you, as you are, coming from our old podcast, a lot of you have followed us over. A lot of you, this is your new first time kind of jumping into this podcast with us. A lot of our topics and a lot of our information comes from the people that Matt and I coach. We work with a lot of people around the United States. We are constantly in their worlds and their businesses, helping them get to where they want to go, build the life that they want to have, build the businesses that they want to have. And more often than not, when we're having a coaching call, we'll see a pattern or trends out here. And all of a sudden I'll go, ooh, there's a podcast episode and jot it down. Well, just a couple of days ago, I was on a coaching call and I was listening to somebody that was just continuing to tell me about the problem. They just kept telling me about what's going on, what's wrong, the life they want to have. But the problem is this, the problem is that. And I said, hold on a second. I said, you're so focused on the problem that you can't see any solutions in front of you. And this is a really common place that a lot of us get into is that we get so locked onto this problem that everything else as a solution doesn't fit in the world that we think is around us. And so we only see the things that represent the problem. We go, yep, that backs up the problem. Yep, that backs up the problem. And this is a really common place. I think Matt, we coach people through this more often than we would like to say.
Yeah. I mean, you see this all the time in negotiations, with when agents are talking about certain clients not being ready to make a move. You see it with people's health and fitness routines. You see it with people's mindsets. I look at it like you're standing at a river, right? And you want to get to the other side and you're like, I want to get over there. But the problem is there's a river in the way. It's like, okay, well, what should we do about it? There's a river in the way. Okay, well, should we build a bridge, or do you want to do a tunnel, or do we want to go upstream or down? Do we want to get a boat, or get a ferry? It's like,
but it's a big river, Matt.
No, Garrett, you don't understand. There's a river in the way. It's like, oh yeah, we established that, right? So that's the way I see this working with a lot of people. And you're so right. If you are so leaned into there being a river in the way, the only thing you're going to see is the river, and you're not going to be able to even think about solutions. And so you have to pull yourself back and say, okay, yeah, let's accept that there's a river in the way and talk about the solutions that we can utilize or create to help us get across.
As you're sitting here talking about the river in the way, I was thinking about an experience I had here. This is a couple of years back now, which it's really fun to look at this now with years separating this event to where I am currently right now. I used to have a trick knee, and my trick knee, I used to tell people I can run for like 30 yards really fast, and then my knee starts to bind up, and then I can, or actually the other way around. I can run for about a mile, and then I need to walk for about 30 yards because my knee gets all funky and it starts to bind up and pressure starts to build up in there. And if I can walk for about 30 yards, then I can pick up and run again. Usually I can get about, a mile to a half mile, and then I can feel it start to bind up. If I run through that pain, I am hurting for weeks to months. If I run through it, if I'm just like, I'm just going to keep going, it's a really bad idea, I found out. Well, I was starting to think in my, late 30s, early 40s, like, am I going to be the guy that has to have his knee replaced or going to need to have surgery, or what does this look like? And I had talked to a doctor just lightly about it. And they said, oh, yeah, we can go through and clean stuff out. You probably have a little tear or something in there, a little piece of cartilage that messes with you when you start working or running. I met a trainer that was training my kids, and we started talking about it. And I said, I got a knee that really bothers me. And I said, I'm not willing to go in for surgery. And she said, well, hold on, just go walk for me for a second. So I walked away from her and walked back. She goes, okay, jog down, jog back. Then she sat there and she looked at my legs and she said, yeah, you have some overdeveloped muscles. I'm like, what are you talking about? And she says, all these muscles on this side are overdeveloped. And what happening is it's pulling your knee over to this side. So it puts extra pressure on these pieces. She goes, I bet you it hurts like right here. And she like pointed at my knee where it hurts. I'm like, yeah, that's it. She goes, oh yeah, we just need to strengthen these muscles. She goes, when we strengthen these muscles, it'll fix the pain. And it did. And so I think it's one of those things that, like, for years and years and years, I just focused on I have a need that gives me problems and I just deal with it and I work around it. And it wasn't about finding solutions to it. And I came to a place of, I'm not willing to have knee pain anymore. I neither need to have surgery, which is where my brain was thinking was the only solution. But I opened it up to what other options are out here. And I think this is the mindset you need to get into around anything in your world that's a roadblock is, okay, I see the roadblock. I think this is the only solution, but let's take a step back for a second. Let's just stop everything, take a step back. And maybe there's solutions that I don't even know about right now that I want to open my mind up to and see that are around me. That's the moment for most people that I've coached, people that I've worked with, that moment of removing yourself from the situation and stepping back for a second and be like, what is my brain not allowing me to see, or what has it not been allowing me to see that I think I should be paying attention to here? And all of a sudden solutions start popping up and it's like, oh, there you go. By the way, no scars in my knees. Haven't had no surgery. My knees work fairly well. I've let those muscles kind of like turn to crap a little bit again here. It was great when I was working with that trainer. She did an amazing job.
What's interesting about that, Garrett, too, is sometimes it's not even the problem that you're so focused on. It's the symptom you get so focused on that you can't even discover the problem, because the problem in that scenario was unbalanced muscle structure, right? That was the problem, which there is a solution for. That problem was creating a symptom, which took the focus of your attention and said, that's a problem. And it really wasn't. You don't have a problem with your knee.
Yep.
Your knee is totally fine. You have a problem with your muscle structure. And so I think when we apply this to business too, a lot of people will look at a situation and say, well, the problem is my seller won't reduce the price, right? It's like, okay, well, is that really the problem, or is that a symptom? Because maybe the problem is if we reduce the price, all of a sudden we have a short sale, right? Maybe the problem is, well, the seller doesn't really want to sell it for free, right? Or maybe the problem is the seller doesn't understand the market, or they're scared, or they're timid, or something else. And them not wanting to reduce the price is a symptom. and we need to have a deeper conversation to better understand. And this is where, as the business owner, as a real estate agent in this scenario, you take the role of that personal trainer, say, hey, can you just walk back and forth for me? Right.
Yeah.
You open up the discussion, you start to do some discovery, because I could see people sitting there, and I do this sometimes too, where it's like, but I don't know what the solution is. So how can I see the solution if I don't know? And it's, well, we need to get into discovery mode. So now we've assessed that we have a problem, or at the very least, we have a symptom. How do we go into discovery? What are the questions we need to ask? And Garrett, like, that's one thing that we talk about with our clients and the agents is, hey, how can we ask more questions of our clients? How can we ask more questions of ourselves to better understand the situation so that we can seek out and find the potential solutions?
Well, I was on a coaching call the other day, and we were talking about, somebody was saying, like, I feel like this business is taking me over right now. I feel like I just have no time. My phone's ringing off the hook. Like, I feel like there's always a reason that I'm trying to remove myself, and all of a sudden someone needs my attention or something. And it was funny. I asked the question, I said, have you ever communicated with your clients your actual working hours, but also how you handle your phone? And he was like, what do you mean? And I said, have you ever told them up front that you don't have your phone on you when you're face to face with a client, and that same respect that that I'm giving to you right now by not having my phone with me, by not being distracted. Oh, by the way, I give that to my other clients also. So very good chance when you call me, it's going to go to voicemail. And that's an okay thing. That's how I run my business. And leave a voicemail for me, because I'm going to get back to it. And he goes, well, I never thought about that. And it's like, okay, so it's not that we have a problem with these people taking advantage of your time. You've never set the stage on how you handle your time. But we get so focused and so frustrated with this business. This does this. I love this business, but I hate it because it messes with all this stuff over here that I don't have control over. And all of a sudden you saw the light bulb go on in his head, where he was like, I actually do have control over that. Now, I think the interesting thing is, and this comes back to the book E Squared that we've talked about a lot by Pam Grout. If anybody hasn't read it out there, I highly recommend it. E Squared is an amazing book. But they talk in that book about looking for solutions. And they talk in there about, what solution do you want to see, a problem that you maybe are currently have in front of you right now, and saying, look, in the next 48 hours, I will have a solution to this. And we all do this. It's funny. She's breaking it down into a real, like, I want you to run a test pattern here for a second. But we all do it, and you don't even realize you're doing it. And anybody who's listening to this right now, if you've ever been stuck in a problem, you know kind of what you want to see, but you don't know the solutions to it. And all of a sudden you're in the shower, you're washing your hair, and there's that moment where your brain goes, oh, that's it. I need to call this person, and I need to do this, and I'm going to write this email. And oh my gosh, I totally forgot that I know John, and I got to bring John into this because John's going to be able to help us through this situation. That is your brain working on problems behind the scenes, finding solutions. And I think Matt, I'd be curious to hear your opinion on this. Sometimes consciously we get in our way of actively trying to find the solution. And the best thing sometimes we can do, know what we want and let go, and let your subconscious brain run in the background. It's more powerful than you can even imagine.
Yeah. Coming back to the river, if you focus on, I want to get to the other side, right? That's where I want to be. Instead of focusing on, there's a river right here, it's, I want to be over there. All of a sudden your brain starts going, build a bridge, get a boat, build a raft, dig a tunnel, go down where there is a bridge.
Well, that's what I was going to say. How many times do you just walk down the bank a little bit, either up or down, and all of a sudden you're like, oh, there's a crossing.
Yeah. Or you're like, oh, actually this river is only 1 foot deep. I could just walk right across. Like, I could literally just walk across this thing.
It's really wide here, but it really only is about 1 foot deep. Like,
you just got to look, right? And I think so. I think part of this too, Garrett, starts with just acknowledging that every problem we face has symptoms, and it also has solutions. Yeah. And so if you acknowledge that, as soon as you say, I have a problem, you get to then say, well, is this problem that I'm looking at here a symptom of another problem? Yep. And let's also accept that there's a solution to this. I may not know what that solution is, but I know there is a solution here. And this is, if you're an advisor, this is something to communicate directly to your clients as well. If you're facing a problem together, you say, hey, you know what? We may not know what the solution is here, but I know there is a solution to this and we are going to figure it out. Give people the confidence in knowing that we can get there, because if everybody gets on board with, hey, we can solve this, you're going to create the energy to open up the opportunity to see solutions and to work through solutions and to have a great open conversation to discuss potential solutions, because you may discover one and that may not be the solution you want to do.
Let's first off, like I always encourage people to say, okay, if you could dream really big here right now, what would be the perfect solution that you could see? Like not all the pieces to it. I don't want to know the pieces. And that's where we get caught up, is in the details of how it's going to work. But what would be the perfect solution sitting out here in front of you that you could see that you'd be like, well, that would be amazing. And usually when you come up with it, there's going to be a little voice in the back of your head going, but this, but that, but, and it says, it's okay. I hear you, but we're not talking about that right now. This would be what I would really want. And let's see if we can just be open to seeing ideas around us. And I think that it's, when you open your mind up to seeing the ideas that are around you, it's like we've used this scenario in past podcasts, Matt. It's no different than me having you walk down the street, and well, I might even ask you this and say, how many flowers did you see yesterday? Like, and did you see any at all? Do you think there's any flowers out there right now? I'm like, I don't know. Like my brain's going, like, I'm looking out my window. It's pretty darn dry out there. We're already in that time of season. There may not be any flowers out there. Now, if I went out though today, I'm going to go wander around the world. I've got a 9-hour drive in front of me right now. I'm going to a conference in Boise. On my journey of taking that trip, I have now programmed into my head that I'm going to see flowers. Whether I like it or not, I have programmed that in. And as I am driving today, I'm going to be like, there's flowers. Look, there's more flowers. Like all of a sudden, these things have always been around me, but I didn't know to be looking for them. And this is the interesting thing about when you get the picture of what you want, instead of focusing and seeing all the ways it won't work, we're now focusing on all the things that we're like, ooh, that fits in with what I was looking for. Oh, that fits in. Oh, take that one from over there. And all of a sudden you start building a belief system that says, maybe that will work. Maybe we could do that. And that's the amazing place that we want to get to. And that's when big changes can start happening.
It really is. So, I mean, I would encourage everyone, like, if you need a reminder on this, because sometimes you get stressed, you get stuck in focusing on the problems. As you're practicing the skill of getting better at this, like put a note, some type of reminder that you can have available to you that triggers, oh, I shouldn't focus on the problem. Whether it is like, I would probably just put the word solution on a sticky note and stick it on my computer, because probably a lot of the problems that you face come through in your email, right? So you might be sitting there and like, oh, here's a problem. This is a problem. It's like, oh, wait, there is a solution to this problem. I just need to open myself up to seeing it.
So Matt, if when you're on the phone with somebody and you run up against somebody who, and because again, I've had it, I know you've had it, where everything is just like, yeah, but that won't work because of this, or yeah, that won't work because of this. Do you have any things that you focus on or questions you ask? I know I'm kind of putting you on the spot with this right now, but I'm just curious, are there things that you put out there to say, what if we looked at it from this angle?
When it gets to that point where it's like, but this problem, but this problem, but this problem, I say, okay, well, I guess there's no solutions then. So let's just move on to the next thing. Let's just leave that behind, because if that's a problem that we can't solve, then there's no point in putting any energy in it anymore. And usually that's, wait, but no, because we need to solve it. Oh, so you're acknowledging that there could be a potential solution. Well, yeah, okay, well then let's take a step back. Yeah, sometimes you need to jolt in a way the person that you're talking to by taking away the possibility of there being a solution, saying, okay, well, if that's the case, I guess we're just gonna, like, to use the river analogy. Yep, there's a river in front of us. I guess we're just going to turn around and go home.
Yep.
Wait, no, we can't go home. Why not? We got the problem. There's no solution. Let's just go home. We need to get to the other side. But the problem. No. We can do it. Oh, we can? That's what we need to get to that. we can state, and sometimes you have to pull it away a little bit to get there.
Yeah, it's that moment that you sit back and you just say, wow, like you honestly believe there is no fix to this. And you know what? You're convincing, and I believe you. There is no fix. And it is funny, Matt, that jolt when you have people go, but wait, like I need a solution to this though. That's when you can then bring it back and say, okay, well, let's now talk about what the perfect scenario. Let's leave the buts off the table. Let's leave the yeah, but this, yeah, but that, yeah, but I've got to figure this out. Because that's that spiral that, are you trying to convince me, or are you trying to convince you that there's no solutions?
That conjunction too, but a lot of people talk about this, and something that I need to get better at as well is, instead of yes, but, change it to yes, and. And when you use the and conjunction, you're acknowledging whatever the yes is and saying that we can move beyond it. Whereas yes, but is an introduction to an excuse. It's an introduction to another roadblock. So yes, and will get you a lot further than yes, but.
Now, here's the crazy thing, Matt. You're talking about this in a way that sounds like a coach and a coachee having a conversation with the yes, and.
Sure.
I would take this even a step further with people and say, this is also the internal conversation that's happening inside your head with your conscious and your subconscious brain. I know you might think that would make you be crazy, that you would have this conversation, this dialogue. We all do it. We all have it. And it's one of those things that you can stop and say, stop saying yes, but internally. What if I were to replace that with yes, and? And as you start writing notes to yourself, and your little brain is going, yeah, but this, yeah. And say, yeah, and what else? What else can we do with that? Yes, I acknowledge that is a problem at the moment, and this is maybe a different way that we can look at it or see it from a different angle. So I encourage you, it's not just the conversations that are happening on the external, it's also the internal conversations too, that you need to pay attention to with that type of verbiage. There's so many incredible affirmations, belief structures happening internally that we don't give ourselves the amount of credit that we should give ourselves, of the reality that we create in our minds, in ourself, and then we go out there and we search for the solutions. We think it's all kind of happening out there, and a lot of it is just, what are you looking for? Like the flowers. Like my knee, not being willing to focus on this is going to take surgery, and being like, you know what, there's got to be another solution, which then forced me to ask that trainer, can you just talk to me for a second about my knee? Because I'm curious. That was that moment of saying, I'm not willing to accept this. What are maybe some other solutions out there? You all do this. We all do it all the time. I'm not the only one that like went and did that on my own and figured it out. We all do it all the time, all day long. You hopefully will just realize the places that you lock in on, that we get into this space of being frozen, of there are no solutions and we're stuck. Those are the ones you need to have the biggest conversations around, because you might not be right. And that's what I want you to focus on.
Great point. Great point. So guys, every problem has a solution. Yes, and open your mind. You're going to see the opportunities. It's going to be awesome. You can get across that river. I know you can. I know you can get there.
Especially when it's only that deep.
Solution. You may just need to walk.
You may just need to roll your pants up
or swim. It's like, or actually I could jump over. Well, a river might be hard to jump over. That would be more of a stream or a creek or something. But anyway, guys, thanks so much for tuning in. Gosh, we're already almost a month into this podcast, and we are so excited. We're having an absolute blast with this. We love this, and we would love to hear from you guys. So share your feedback with us. You can either, connect with us in our community, which you can learn more about at lifeat10tenths.com. You can comment below the YouTube videos. You can find us in a myriad of ways on social media. We'd love to hear from you guys, and we appreciate you and always want to bring you guys the value. So if we're not doing that, just let us know. If we are, and you feel somebody else would get a lot of great benefit out of this, we would love for you to share this with your friends, your family, your peers, your colleagues, your counterparts, your competitors. Yeah, them too. The people that you hate.
That person in your office that's always the problem that you're like, here, I'm going to make them be the solution. Share it with them.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. If you need somebody else who needs to wake up to some of this stuff. So anyway, guys, thank you guys so much. We appreciate you, Garrett. Appreciate you so much, my friend, as well.
Yeah, man.
And catch you guys on the next episode.
Thanks, everybody.